College Football 26 was another huge success for EA, but if they really want College Football 27 to become an all-time sports game, they have to take things to another level. And honestly, there's already a ton of clues about what is coming. Because when you look at the leaks, when you look at Madden, and you also look at features EA has already built into other games, it's quite clear some of the things that are coming to College Football 27. And I've been predicting features for Madden for the last 10 years, and I'm usually almost 100% right because EA is pretty predictable. So today we're talking about 10 huge things to expect in College Football 27, and trust me, some of these would make this game feel way more alive than it does right now. The first feature we have to talk about is an updated weather system. Now, if you played Madden 26, you already saw this, and if you look back over the years, Madden a lot of times got features the year before the NCAA games got them, and even if you look deeper into this, the FIFA game usually would always get a big feature the year before Madden got it. They would trickle it down into their other games. Madden last year has pushed weather further than it has ever been in any of their football games, with more realistic weather effects, lighting transitions, fog, snow accumulation, and more. Now imagine if this was fully translated into college football. Now of course you have rain and snow in the college football games, but if you see what they did with Madden making the heavy snow and fog where it was so crazy that you could almost not even see what was going on, or they added that heavy rain that was a lot more aggressive than the rain that was previously there and the rain that currently exists in college football. There's no reason they would put all of the investment into this to only use it in Madden. They're going to bring this to college football this year more likely. And I believe the overall plan is to further build on the weather and actually make it dynamic, meaning it could start out not snowing, but then halfway through the game, it would start snowing out of nowhere. Or the game could start out snowing, but then stop later in the game. I believe they want to put this into Madden, so that might also come to college this year as well. But that brings us to feature number 2, Coach DNA. This is another massive feature that was added to Madden last year, and why wouldn't they add this to college football? I mean, they kind of already had some of this in effect in college football when you look at the coaching abilities, which Madden has since adopted, but Madden took it a step further last year. Because before this was implemented in Madden, a lot of the coaches felt too much the same, and that's kind of how it even feels a bit in the college football games. But imagine if every coach had a true identity. Some would recruit heavier in state, some would prioritize speed over power, some would go for mobile quarterbacks more than pocket passers, and things like that. If Georgia hires a different style of coach, their entire offense would change over time, for example. And if a defensive mastermind took over a struggling program, the recruiting priorities would shift completely. This was a very big part of Madden's franchise mode last year, and I just can't see no way that they would not implement this into college football, especially after making such a big deal about adding real coaches to the game last year. It's one thing to have the likeness of the coaches visually, but we need the likeness of the coaches in how they actually call games, because that adds so much more immersion to not only the game at its core, but to modes like Dynasty. And that brings us into feature number 3, which is player DNA and traits. This was another thing that was added to Madden last year, and it's already been leaked that they're going to be expanding this in Madden this year. Last year they had it for about the top 200 players, and it has been leaked that this year they're going to try to have it for almost every player in the game. But this doesn't completely exist inside of college football yet, but why not? Now, of course, you can differentiate players with ratings and abilities, but the DNA and the traits kind of took this a step further in Madden last year. Some quarterbacks would panic more under pressure, some wide receivers would make insane sideline catches, some running backs would fight for more yards constantly, so on and so forth. Now, for some more specific examples in Madden, they had traits where a quarterback would be more of a scrambler type, but he would keep his eyes downfield until the last second and then start to scramble. But until that point, he would still keep his eyes downfield and try to find an open player before just mindlessly taking off. Whereas there's other quarterbacks that would be looking to take off instantly if the opportunity presents itself. That is a player trait, and that helps differentiate a player like Josh Allen, who is mobile and moves around but still looks to try to get the pass off before running, versus a player that gets happy feet and just wants to take off completely, like a rookie who maybe is just not confident enough yet. Now, are they going to do this for every player in the game? No, I don't think so, but they'll probably do it for the top players and then slowly expand it over the years. And that brings us to feature number 4, which is mascot mode. Now, there have already been leaks and rumors about mascot mode potentially returning, and if you've played the older NCAA games, you know how legendary this mode was. This is exactly the kind of fun, chaotic feature that separates college football from Madden, because college football is supposed to be fun. Now, earlier this year, there were some emails that went out to gamers that said that they'd be able to play mascot mode in an upcoming title update, but it never came to the game. So it sounds like we were supposed to get this last year, and either they held it back as a selling point for 27, or they maybe ran into some issues and did not get it ready in time. But nonetheless, this should be coming to the game this year, because why would that email have gone out if it wasn't something they were working on? Now, I would like if they expanded this beyond just play now, maybe make it to where you could actually play with them online. Heck, maybe even do a dynasty mode with your mascot teams. I mean, why not? But regardless, this has been a very heavily requested feature since the series was announced to be returning years ago, so I do think a lot of people will enjoy having this back. Number 5 is new gameplay mechanics. Now, this should go without saying. Every new year of a football title, you're typically going to get some new gameplay mechanics. Now, regardless if you think the gameplay is good or bad, it's not for a lack of development time. Gameplay gets the most resources every single year because, I mean, it's the gameplay. It's the most important part of the game. Some years we get bigger features here. Some years it's more quality of life fixes and smaller changes, but typically every year you're going to get some type of new mechanics. Whether it be more realistic player motion, whether it be better physics, whether it just be better zones and trench play, they're going to do something here, and we've already gotten a big leak as to what one of these features is. Because it was leaked a while back that they're adding custom adjustments, which what it sounded like is that you'd be able to save your adjustments from play to play. So if you have certain hot routes on a pass play or certain things that you adjust for a defensive play or a blitz, you'd be able to save those kind of as a macro, and it would just always be there for you to select instead of having to do the input every time you call that play. And not only was this leaked for college football, but it was leaked for Madden as well, which is very important because over the years, even dating back to the old NCAA series, both games usually always got the same gameplay features, and we've already seen that in recent games. Both games got the switch stick at the same time, the defensive line stunts, the custom zones, and I can go on and on. If one game gets it, the other gets it. So the fact that this has been leaked for both games means that it's a lot of credibility here that this is going to be in the game, and there's going to be some other gameplay changes as well, but this is just the one big one we know about so far. But now we got to talk about Dynasty Mode, number 6, which is just simply Dynasty improvements. This is something else that should go without saying, but I know people get scared that modes like this will get left by the wayside, and maybe in some of the older EA Sports days that did happen, but that's not really a thing anymore. Dynasty is going to have some improvements this year. Which exact improvements? That we don't know yet, but there are some pretty obvious things that need to happen here. Number 1, we need a better coaching carousel. It's probably one of the worst parts of Dynasty Mode, and EA knows that, and they know they need to make this better. It needs to feel more like real college football chaos. Coaches leaving unexpectedly, schools panicking after bad decisions, rumors circulating during the year, which also brings us to another thing I think they'll be implementing, which would be some type of a message board or social media, because fans have not only been asking for it, but the devs themselves said even after College 25 that this is something that they want to implement into the mode. The same way that Madden has a social media feed, why does this not exist in college football? And the answer is they probably just haven't gotten around to finishing it yet, but this year it would make sense that that would be something that would be implemented. And we also know they're going to do things with recruiting because that's the most important part of the mode. We saw that they changed a lot of stuff up with it last year. They're going to take that further this year in some way. And I do believe we'll get some NIL integration here because there hasn't really been much of it in this mode, but they did recently just partner with Visa, and they spoke more so about how they're going to integrate it into the Road to Glory mode. But if you're partnering with all these different brands and you're implementing NIL in the Road to Glory, I mean, it just only makes sense that you at least in some way implement it more into Dynasty. So that's something I would expect this year as well because of everything we've heard. And that brings us to number 7, which are play sheets. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand in some way with Dynasty and the coach DNA we talked about earlier, but it's kind of big enough to talk about on its own. This could quietly become one of the best additions to the entire game. Madden already started moving towards more customizable game planning systems, so why wouldn't they again bring this to college football? Think about custom scripted drives, situational calls, third down tendencies, adding different abilities to your play sheets, which is exactly what Madden has now. You can equip different abilities each week. You can unlock new plays and playbooks inside of Madden with these play sheets. It's something that they put a lot of time and money into for Madden. I don't see why they wouldn't just drag this over to college the next year. A lot of times they want to debut these things in Madden first, if you haven't caught on to that by now. So even if college gets it a year later, it still makes sense that they would get it, because why only use it in one game if it works perfectly in both? And while we're talking about game modes, that brings us to number 8, which is an expanded Road to Glory. Look, we know they're going to be doing more with Road to Glory. Last year, they took it a step up from 25, but this is the mode that has the most potential that has been unrealized thus far. And I remember when I was down at EA last year when they were showing us stuff about the game, they said that they know Road to Glory isn't where it needs to be, and they know it's not a lot of people's favorite mode because of what it's lacking currently. But they said they believe in 2 to 3 years' time, they think this will become more people's favorite mode once we see what they're going to do with it and where they're planning to take it. So them telling us that last year already lets me know that we can expect some big changes in Road to Glory this year. What specifically, that I don't know, but I have some ideas. More high school integration, longer high school careers, real recruiting battles, rivalries, and things of that nature. It was nice that they added high school back last year, but a lot of people felt like it was too short. They want a longer season, heck, maybe even multiple seasons. Give people the option to kind of skip over this if they don't want to play it, but for those that do, expand it out, and I do think we'll see that this year. But maybe the biggest thing is we need more positions. We need the ability to play safety, defensive line, tight end, maybe even kicker. I don't think they're going to add a ton of new positions in 1 year, but man, if they don't finally add at least one new position after this thing going years dating back to Madden not having any new positions, I mean, I don't know. At this point, it's been one of the most requested things. I just can't see them dropping this game and not adding at least one new position here. And we already know they're going to be implementing more NIL, as there was the report the other day that they just partnered with Visa, and one of the things they spoke on specifically was Road to Glory, where people could unlock name, image, and likeness sponsorship opportunities, reflecting how real college athletes partner with brands, and as players accept brand deals, they'll receive boosts to their stats, attributes, mirroring real-life sponsorship opportunities for athletes. Moving on to feature number 9, an upgraded game day experience. Now, this is another thing that Madden did last year, and to be fair, Madden took a lot of stuff from college when they implemented this. They added real team intros, they added mascots and things like that. Things that college already has. But that doesn't mean college is going to stop building on this. It's one of the bigger things about the college game. One thing specifically that Madden did add last year that college didn't were real team graphics on the scoreboard. Instead of there just having generic Ohio State or Oregon text on a scoreboard, it would be actual graphics from the real team. Now, they did this for all 32 NFL teams in Madden. Would they do it for every single team in college? I highly doubt it. They'd probably just do it for some of the bigger schools, but I do think we could see some stuff like this implemented into the game since they've already shown that they were willing to do it with the Madden game. But outside of that, maybe adding things like an actual halftime show or a weekly wrap-up, things they also added to Madden last year but don't quite exist in college football in the same way yet. Maybe even adding some type of a college game day show experience into the game in some way. I think all of these things are on the table for 27. And for number 10, something that we've already heard about, but we don't know the full extent yet, is updated customization and equipment. The equipment movement has been huge on Twitter, YouTube, and just the internet in general over the past year. The equipment guru himself that works on this stuff has come out and said that they're adding a lot of new things this year. People have been requesting hanging mouthpieces, one leg sleeves, better cropped jerseys, better helmet fit, more customizable equipment with logos, and the list goes on and on. How much of this are we getting? That I don't know, but I know for sure this is going to be something that we do get this year, more so than maybe we have in the previous years. Now, there's also been a lot of rumors about an open world coming to College Football 27 inside Road to Glory, which would be pretty crazy, and I have some news on that, and if you want to find out everything about it, make sure to check out this video right here on the screen.